Welcome to Demystify Magic with Molly and Madison.
I'm Molly, a former skeptic turned full-time energy healer and teacher.
And I'm Madison, a born and raised witch running my family's crystal shop.
And we're here to explore all things woo through the lens of both science and spirituality so that you can find the moments of magic in your everyday life and create an intentional spiritual practice.
So if that's what you're into, find a cozy spot, take a deep breath, and let's demystify some magic.
Howdy doody, friends.
Howdy doody. The last howdy doody of 2024.
Hey! Pew, 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 pew.
Pew, 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 pew.
If you want to kick off 2025 with a Howdy Doody Friends mug or another piece of Demystify Magic merch and support this silly little show, go to demystifymagic.com. What'd you think of that plug?
That was an excellent plug. Good segue.
Thank
Seamless,
you.
Some might say.
Today, we thought it would be fun to do a little community reading. So Madison is choosing or I guess the cards have chosen. How do I phrase that?
I don't know. I think you did great.
We've chosen a card of the year, or the deck has chosen our little community a card of the year.
There is a card of the year.
There's a card of the year. It was chosen for our cute little community. I have no idea what it is. And so Madison's going to describe it to us. And then I'm going to guide us into a meditation to integrate it into your energy field and body. And it's going to be a cute little experiential episode because we haven't done one of those in a while.
Yeah. And I thought, we've talked a lot about like the word of the year and our crystal of the year and our intentions for the year. And so I thought it might be fun instead of doing just like a normal reading to really like dive into the archetype of one card, our card of the year. I think that will be a little bit easier to see its themes pop up throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really excited to talk about it because I almost think you won't believe me when I tell you that this is the card that I pulled because I love this card so much.
I'm so excited. She pulled it multiple days ago and she has not told me. And notoriously, Madison and I are not good at keeping secrets from each other.
So that's how you know I'm excited.
That's how you know it's good. It's good. But first, Madison, what was your magic moment of the week?
I'm going to be so honest and say that I'm stealing another magic moment from when we saw each other because I have been sick as a dog this week. So there has not been much room for magic. I guess my magic is the 12 hours of sleep I got last night that allowed me to record this podcast. But a more interesting magic moment is one that I keep going back to from when we were together earlier this month. So Molly and I were together for literally 24 hours. I picked her up at 10 o'clock at night from the airport.
Past both of our bedtimes.
Past both of our bedtimes. Far past. I should not have had my normal pants on.
Yeah, same.
I almost picked you up in my pajamas, but I thought maybe that's too much because I was going inside the airport. But just know I thought about it.
It was very nice. She picked me up inside the airport. I've always had people just like pull the car around and you text them from the cell phone lot.
Nope.
But Madison was there waiting for me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even see her.
She didn't. I tried to take a cute video of me picking her up from the airport and it just turned into me chasing her through the terminal. Literally shouting, "Hey lady, hey, stop running away from me."
I pulled out my phone to take a picture of the sign to text her and be like, "Where are you?"
I was like,
she
Jesus
was right behind me.
Christ, girly, please.
Anyway.
But my magic moment was this moment where it was really solidified for me, like one, how close we are, and two, like how we see one another and our needs. Because we got home, I gave Molly like the briefest turnaround tour of my house where I was like, here's the bathroom, here's your room, here's my room, but you can't open it because Drew's sleeping in there. Here's the cats, and I love you, good night. And we hugged and we went promptly to our bedrooms and we slept. And it was so good. I was just like, this is true friendship. Like, this is true love where there's no pressure to like sit up and talk all night, even though we have so much to talk about. I was like, we know that we'll have all this time tomorrow. Like, there's no pressure to entertain. Where Drew in the morning was like, did you tell Molly where to get water? And I was like, no, I didn't. I have faith in her ability to figure it out for herself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which I did.
Which she did. What was your magic moment?
I'm also stealing one from Disney, mostly because this is the third time we've recorded this week.
Yeah.
And I'm running low on magic moments. And also, y'all gave us permission to yap about Disney because a bunch of you slid into our DMs and said you wanted a whole episode about it. And we don't have the energy to make a whole episode, but we will yap about it in our magic moments. So this was the magic moment that I originally shared in last week's episode that got lost to Mercury retrograde.
May she rest.
It is my favorite moment from the day at Disney. And so if you weren't following our Instagram stories, it was me and Madison, Drew, Madison's beau, and Anthony, who works at Spellcrafter, friend of the pod. He's been on the pod before. I'm pretty sure he's coming back on the pod in the new year.
Yes.
Because y'all won't stop asking for him. So we are in line at Haunted Mansion. That's the only line that we really stood in for longer than like 15 or 20 minutes because it was our one non-negotiable. So on the drive there, I really love that we're all like the same person when it comes to Disney. Like we're like, I don't care what we do, like whatever you want to do.
I feel like that's just like how we are in life too. Like it's where I'm like, oh, we are all so similar of like one, I think like the people pleasing might run deep with us. We're like, no, whatever you want. But we are also so like, everyone's just happy to be here.
Yeah.
Like there's no agenda.
I'm just happy to be with you. As long as I get a churro and meet Figment, I'll be happy. And so on the drive, I asked everyone what their non-negotiable was. Like, what's the one thing we have to do? And almost all of us said Haunted Mansion. So when the line was an hour long, we're like, we're standing in it. We're not waiting. This is going to be the long line we stand in. And so Anthony came prepared with Heads Up on his phone, which is a game where you hold your phone to your forehead and it says a word or a phrase, and everyone else has to either act it out or make you guess it. And there's a time limit. It's like counting down the time. So I can't even remember what the category we were. We were probably like a half an hour into this game at this point. Like
it was pop culture. I remember it like it was yesterday.
It was pop culture.
Because this is Molly's magic moment. But if you're listening to this and you're like me, an introverted people pleaser, you're gonna feel your insides clench in.
But for Anthony, Drew, and I, it was the time of our lives.
For the 3 performers in my life, yes, it was.
The 3 theater kids in line with you.
How did I end up surrounded and beloved by theater kids? I do not know.
Anyways, Drew had the phone to his forehead. He chose pop culture, and up until this point, every time a word came up on the screen, it was something different. Like there was never a repeat in the category. And so when Wicked came up, Anthony and I start singing Defying Gravity in this line surrounded by people.
Not just singing it. They were giving the stage performance of their life in this very packed line. Drew hit the same man 3 times, like backed into him 3 times. He felt so bad like during this because like such the performance was occurring that he was like stepping back to like give you the stage.
So Drew automatically guesses Wicked. Great. We go on to like 2 or 3 more, and then Wicked comes up again. And so Anthony and I instinctively start singing Defying Gravity again. And Drew's like, Ariana Grande, the theater, witches. And meanwhile, we're just belting out the entire chorus, like not stopping.
Yeah, like don't pivot
not giving
at
any
all.
other hint.
Nothing. And I'm there quietly trying to say, the movie we saw on Thanksgiving.
And Madison's like, you already guessed this one. It's coming up again.
I'm here to win.
And then it came up a 3rd time.
Oh my God. And it happened with like 3 other. It was as if they had made pop culture, but had only
Wicked.
added. It was Wicked, Amazon Prime, ice skating, and like maybe one other thing that I can't remember. But it was like those 3 things. Oh, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yeah.
Those were the 4 things that whoever works at Heads Up could think
through.
of for pop culture. They're like, oh, what are the 4 most important things right now? Wicked, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson,
ice skating,
and Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally.
Yeah. It was extremely fun. It was extremely silly. And No, I don't think anyone's. Maybe this is my rose-colored glasses as a theater kid who thinks everyone loves me when I burst out into song. But I feel like no one was annoyed by us. I feel like people were like, love that those kids are having fun.
What are the opposite of rose-colored glasses? Because that's what I have.
Emerald glasses.
Yes, I had my green glasses on, and everyone was looking at us with a face of disgust. That's not true. There was one family that was like quietly playing with themselves, like they were quietly participating, like watching. But the man that Drew hit with his body 3 times, he was not living for our shenanigans.
What do you think was more annoying, when we were belting Defying Gravity or when we were doing the charades version where we just had to act it out?
I think the charades was more entertaining for the others, because if they didn't like it, they could simply look away. That's when I noticed like more involvement from the crowd. So I vote that we keep it to charades next time, because I can't handle more pop culture.
I know. Well, we had to stop charades because we were all out of breath.
Yeah, that is true.
We're going too hard.
That's getting older for you.
Yeah, this is 30.
Oh.
Anyways, what's the card of the year?
So, our card of the year this year is death.
Ooh.
And if you're newer to tarot, or tarot isn't something that has like ever really interested you, and you hear me say that, you're like, why the fuck is she so excited that that's our card of the year for 2025? I hear you, but I promise death is not a scary card. It's one of my favorite cards to pull in the deck because it is so nuanced. I'll be honest, my 2 favorite cards in tarot are death and the devil. And that's because they are both so deeply misunderstood, and they like elicit this response in people where really death is all about rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
I equate it a lot to like ego death.
Mm.
And the parts of ourselves that we have to let fall away, and the natural cycles that we have to let come to a close.
Mm-hmm.
So that we can begin something new. You know, it's like if you think about when plants die and they go back to the earth and they begin to decompose and they enrich the soil, and then something new and stronger and even maybe more beautiful can grow out of that soil that has been fertilized by what has come before it. That is what the death card is here to signify.
I feel like there's a beauty in it too, because as you were talking about plants, I thought of like, you know, up here in Maine, before the leaves die off the trees, they turn all pretty colors and people like are mesmerized by them. And like that signifies the beginning of death for those leaves.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And so what I see like in my mind's eye when I think about this card for 2025, it's like the never-ending cycle. And especially like if you're into astrology at all, you might have heard that Pluto has entered Aquarius. And we are going to have an astrologer on the pod very shortly, very soon, who will maybe talk about this a lot better than I can. But Pluto is a generational planet, and so it'll stay in Aquarius for the next 20 years. And Aquarius is all about like great systemic change and freedom. And the last time Pluto was in Aquarius was the American Revolution.
Wild.
So if that tells you anything about like the vibes coming up, is like freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And so I see death for the collective this year as like death to these systems that no longer serve us, both on a grander scale and in our own lives. Like societally, we are releasing what does not push us forward.
Mm-hmm.
And not only are we releasing it, but we're like repelling it. We're saying like, no, I'm done here. I'm done with this. I'm not putting up with this anymore. And I will let you go back to the earth where you come from, and I will use that enriched soil to build something better and build something beautiful. I think that, you know, there's a lot of reasons that the death card is scary when you pull it. If you don't know that context, you know, it's like the first question of like, oh, am I going to die? But that fear that comes up also can have a lot to do with like the fear of the unknown. It's, you know, like the age-old saying of like the devil you know is easier to live with than the devil you don't. And so the message that I would ask you to keep with you this year is to trust that what is falling apart is doing so something better can fall together, and trusting yourself to be able to grow through whatever ending is coming this year.
Mm-hmm.
Because that natural cycle, like I can almost just see like circles over and over and over and over, like almost like a falling wheel of like that is like the natural death and rebirth of ourselves that we will experience this year. And you don't have to be afraid to become something new.
Ooh. Ooh. Love that.
And that makes me really excited.
That is exciting.
You know, I've talked about this before, I think, on the podcast, that caterpillars, when they go into their chrysalis to become butterflies, they liquefy. And I think that this is an excellent metaphor for the human experiences, which is why I will not shut up about it.
Yes.
And death is really like it is being in that chrysalis. Yeah. It is surrender. It is saying, I don't know what's on the other side of this, but I trust myself and my body and my spirit that like on a cellular level, because like the caterpillar doesn't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
But I trust that I know on a cellular level what I am supposed to be, and I trust that I can get there.
Yeah.
And so when you feel like shit this year, because inevitably we will all feel like shit at some point this year. If you feel like shit right now, just know that like that you are liquefied right now. And that is a beautiful thing. And it is beautiful because it is so ugly and so painful.
Yeah.
Because look at what we are willing to do to become these new versions of ourselves.
Yeah. And I was going to say lean into the cocoon too. Like if you feel like you just need to rot on the couch for a little bit, swaddle yourself in a blanket, you're not rotting. You're fermenting.
I love that. You're fermenting. My little sourdough starter.
Yeah. You're just becoming human kimchi.
We love to see it. The longer it sits, the better it gets.
Release your baggage and become cabbage. Got her.
That's my motto for 2025. That's the new version of like save your drama for your llama or whatever.
Release your baggage, become the cabbage.
All right, we ready to meditate on death?
Yeah. Let's die together. Oh.
Maybe in a little while.
Let's become cabbage together.
Let's do that.
Okay. Get comfy. Take a couple of deep breaths. If you're not driving a car and it's safe for you to close your eyes, maybe you do that. Or maybe you just kind of let your gaze fuzz a little bit. Unless you're driving, don't do that. Don't do that.
Pull over.
And just bring your awareness to the support underneath you. So if you're standing, feel the support under your feet. If you're sitting, feel that support underneath your hips and legs. Maybe you're lying down, in which case feel the support underneath your spine, your head. Take a deep breath in. And with your exhale, lean into that support a little bit more. And see if you can start to physically embody this liquefied caterpillar essence. So wherever you make contact with that support beneath you, imagine that part of your body could just go liquid. just sort of melting into that support a little bit more. And as you do that, feel that tension in your body melt away. Feeling the weight of your bones held here by gravity, by the earth. And then notice, is there a part of your body where the tension feels a bit stubborn? Some sort of tightness, an ache, tension, or pain that doesn't want to melt. Just kind of hanging in there, and just bring your awareness to that part of your body. Don't overthink it. If there's multiple parts, just notice where you're pulled first. And without trying to change how this part of your body feels at all, just watch with curiosity as you breathe into this space. And whenever we have a holding like this, there's always something underneath the surface that our body's trying to tell us. And so as you watch this space with curiosity, again, not trying to change it, not trying to judge it, maybe you just look with curiosity and notice what's beneath the surface of this tension. This might be a memory, a thought, a word. Could be an image. Maybe you notice the tension sort of trails down to a different part of the body that you didn't even realize was tense. Just become curious what's underneath the surface of this tension here. And then with that same curiosity, ask this part of your body, what does it need you to let go of? What needs to die back in order to nourish this part of you? And just trust whatever comes through, however it may come. And if this is something you can offer yourself now, perhaps you do so, or you make note of it for later. But offer this part of yourself a commitment that you will do your best to resolve this need, this desire, this release. Take a deep breath in. Open your mouth and let it go. And when you're ready, open your eyes.
I think that was a perfect way to close out 2024.
Agree. If you're into meditation, you wanna explore it in the new year, I do have a free 7-day meditation challenge for the easily distracted that we'll link in the show notes. Totally free to join. I'm going to be starting it on the 1st of January. You can start it anytime. And then if you're interested in joining Reiki training, the wait is soon to be over. So make sure you're on the wait list because Registration opens early February 2025.
All right. I think we did it for 2024.
We did it. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We love you very much.
Okay, bye. Thanks for listening to Demystify Magic with Molly and Madison. If you want to learn more about us, you can find all our links in the show notes.
We'd love to know what you think of today's episode, so drop us a review or give us a shout out on social media. And don't forget to let us know your magical moment of the week. Okay, love you. Bye.